Iran and Israel exist in a state of perpetual tension. This tension is not just a recent phenomenon but has deep historical roots that have evolved over decades. The animosity between these two nations is palpable and has manifested in various forms, from diplomatic standoffs to outright hostility. The two nations are locked in a bitter rivalry. This rivalry is not merely a political or military one, it extends to cultural and ideological realms as well. Both countries see each other as existential threats, and this perception fuels their ongoing conflict. This rivalry is rooted in historical grievances, ideological clashes, and geopolitical ambitions. The Iranian Revolution of 1979, which brought a theocratic regime to power, marked a significant shift in Iran's foreign policy, particularly towards Israel. The new Iranian leadership viewed Israel as a symbol of Western imperialism in the Middle East. Understanding this complex relationship requires examining the historical events that have shaped it. From the early 20th century to the present day, a series of pivotal moments have defined the contours of this fraught relationship. Each event has added layers of complexity and mistrust. At the heart of the conflict lies a fundamental disagreement over Israel's right to exist. Iran has consistently questioned the legitimacy of the Israeli state, a stance that has been a cornerstone of its foreign policy. This fundamental disagreement has made any form of reconciliation extremely challenging. The establishment of Israel in 1948 marked a turning point. For many Jews around the world, it was the realization of a long-held dream. However, for many in the Arab and Muslim world, including Iran, it was seen as a catastrophe that led to the displacement of Palestinian people. Many in the Arab and Muslim world, including Iran, viewed it as an illegitimate entity. Iranian leaders have often used strong rhetoric to condemn Israel, calling for its destruction and supporting groups that oppose Israeli policies. This has only deepened the animosity between the two nations. This event sowed the seeds of discord. The 1948 Arab-Israeli War, which followed the establishment of Israel, resulted in significant territorial changes and the displacement of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians. This conflict set the stage for future hostilities and shaped the geopolitical landscape of the region. Over the following decades, relations between Iran and Israel remained strained. Despite occasional diplomatic engagements, the underlying tensions have never been fully resolved. Both nations have continued to view each other with suspicion and hostility, making the prospect of lasting peace seem elusive. The year 1979 proved to be a pivotal moment. The Iranian Revolution toppled the Shah, a pro-Western monarch. Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, a staunch critic of Israel, rose to power. Khomeini's fiery rhetoric and anti-Zionist ideology transformed the relationship. Iran's new government withdrew its recognition of Israel. It actively supported Palestinian militant groups opposed to Israel's existence. This support further inflamed tensions. The relationship deteriorated from uneasy coexistence to outright hostility. Adding another layer of complexity to the conflict is Iran's nuclear program. This program has been a focal point of international tension for years, drawing the attention and concern of many global powers. The heart of the issue lies in the dual-use nature of nuclear technology, which can be used for both civilian energy purposes and military applications. Iran insists its nuclear ambitions are peaceful, aimed at energy production and scientific research. The country has repeatedly stated that its nuclear program is designed to meet its growing energy needs and to advance its scientific capabilities. Iranian officials argue that as a signatory to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, NPT, they have the right to develop nuclear technology for peaceful purposes. However, Israel and the international community harbor deep suspicions. These suspicions are fueled by Iran's history of secrecy and non-compliance with international nuclear agreements. The international community, particularly Western nations, have imposed numerous sanctions on Iran in an effort to curb its nuclear activities and to bring transparency to its program. They fear Iran is secretly developing nuclear weapons capability. The potential for Iran to develop a nuclear weapon is seen as a destabilizing factor in the already volatile Middle East region. Satellite images and intelligence reports have often pointed to activities that could be consistent with weapons development, further heightening these fears. The potential for Iran to acquire nuclear weapons is a grave concern for Israel. Israel, which is widely believed to possess its own undeclared nuclear arsenal, views a nuclear-armed Iran as a direct threat to its existence. The prospect of a nuclear arms race in the Middle East is a scenario that Israel and its allies are desperate to avoid. It views such a development as an existential threat. Israeli leaders have consistently stated that they cannot and will not allow Iran to develop a nuclear weapon. This stance is rooted in the belief that a nuclear-armed Iran would embolden its proxies and allies in the region, further threatening Israel's security. This fear has driven Israel to pursue a policy of strategic ambiguity. Israel's policy involves maintaining a level of uncertainty about its own nuclear capabilities, while making it clear that it will take whatever measures necessary to prevent Iran from becoming a nuclear-armed state. This includes diplomatic efforts, intelligence operations, and, if necessary, military action. It has hinted at preemptive military action to prevent Iran from crossing the nuclear threshold. Israeli officials have repeatedly stated that all options are on the table, including the use of force. This stance is intended to serve as a deterrent to Iran, signaling that any move towards developing a nuclear weapon will be met with a strong and potentially devastating response. The shadow of potential conflict looms large as both nations navigate this high-stakes geopolitical chess game. Tensions between Iran and Israel have escalated dramatically in recent years. A series of tit-for-tat attacks has characterized this dangerous new phase. In October 2024, Israel launched airstrikes targeting military sites inside Iran. The strikes were a response to an earlier ballistic missile attack on Israel, which it blamed on Iran. These attacks marked a significant escalation in the conflict. They shattered any pretense of a cold peace. The strikes also underscored the volatile nature of the region. Section 5. Global Alarm Bells. The international community has reacted with alarm to the escalating tensions. World leaders have called for restraint from both sides. They fear a wider conflict could erupt with devastating consequences. The United Nations has urged dialogue and diplomacy to de-escalate the situation. The European Union has expressed deep concern over the potential for a nuclear arms race in the Middle East. It has urged Iran to comply with the terms of the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, the international agreement designed to limit Iran's nuclear program. Section 6. The perils of further conflict. The consequences of a full-blown war between Iran and Israel would be catastrophic. Both nations possess sophisticated military capabilities. A conflict would likely result in a humanitarian disaster. Millions of civilians would be at risk. Beyond the immediate human cost, a war would have far-reaching geopolitical ramifications. It could destabilize the entire Middle East, disrupting global energy markets and triggering a refugee crisis. The conflict could also draw in other regional and global powers, escalating into a wider conflagration. Section 7. The path of diplomacy. Despite the deep animosity and mistrust, a peaceful resolution to the Iran-Israel conflict remains the only viable option. Diplomacy, though challenging, is essential to prevent further bloodshed and avert a wider war. The international community must play an active role in facilitating dialogue between the two sides. Confidence-building measures such as prisoner exchanges and the easing of sanctions could help to reduce tensions and create an environment conducive to negotiations. Section 8. Reuters, a window into the crisis. Throughout this crisis, Reuters has played a vital role in providing accurate and impartial news coverage. From the very beginning, Reuters has been on the ground, ensuring that the world stays informed about the unfolding events. Their dedication to truth and transparency has been unwavering, even in the face of immense challenges and dangers. Its journalists have reported from the front lines, providing eyewitness accounts of the escalating tensions. These brave correspondents have risked their lives to bring us stories from the heart of the conflict, offering a first-hand perspective that is both raw and unfiltered. Their reports have shed light on the human cost of the conflict, capturing the voices and experiences of those directly affected. Reuters has also provided in-depth analysis of the conflict, examining its historical roots. By delving into the complex history between Iran and Israel, Reuters has helped audiences understand the long-standing issues that have fueled the current crisis. Their comprehensive timelines and archival footage have been instrumental in contextualizing the events, making it easier for viewers to grasp the nuances of the situation, the motivations of the key actors. Through detailed coverage of political leaders and their actions, Reuters has illuminated the strategic decisions and motivations driving the conflict. Their reporting on diplomatic meetings and speeches has provided critical insights into the intentions and goals of the key players involved, and the potential consequences of further escalation. By highlighting the military buildup and the various acts of aggression, Reuters has painted a vivid picture of the potential dangers that lie ahead. Their coverage of protests and demonstrations has also shown the widespread impact of the conflict on civilian populations, emphasizing the urgent need for resolution. Reuters' commitment to journalistic integrity and its global reach have made it an invaluable source of information for policymakers, analysts. The dedication of their newsroom staff, working tirelessly to verify facts and provide balanced reporting, has earned them a reputation for reliability and trustworthiness. Their global network of correspondents ensures that no story goes unnoticed, offering a comprehensive view of the crisis from multiple angles, and the general public seeking to understand this complex and dangerous conflict. In an age where misinformation can spread rapidly, Reuters' role in delivering accurate news is more crucial than ever. Their efforts have empowered individuals around the world to stay informed and engage in meaningful discussions about the conflict, fostering a more informed and connected global community. Section 9. A plea for peace. The conflict between Iran and Israel is a stark reminder of the fragility of peace. It highlights the urgent need for dialogue, diplomacy, and a commitment to peaceful coexistence. The world cannot afford another devastating conflict. The international community must work together to bridge the divides, address the root causes of the conflict, and find a lasting solution that ensures the security and prosperity of all people in the region. The future of the Middle East and indeed the world may depend on it.